Let's get to our top story right now. All eyes are on Hurricane Ian and its track. Metro Atlanta could see its impacts Friday night. And the governor just issued a state of emergency for our state of Georgia.
And ahead of its arrival, dozens of high school football games are rescheduled. Clayton County Schools announcing a virtual learning day Friday. Take a look at this. Right now, Ian has passed over Cuba and is heading for Florida and over Marco Island, Florida. You can see, or we can see, that the winds have started to pick up. The sky there is darkening last time we checked. And tonight we have special team coverage as people evacuate Florida and head to Georgia. Plus, we're verifying if this storm will impact your gas prices. But first, we want to start with Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb, who has been tracking the latest on this.
Yeah, we're watching this storm that already crossed over the western tip of Cuba this morning as a Category 3 storm. It lost a little bit of strength. Now it's getting stronger again over water. You can see that well-defined eye. It is still a Category 3 storm. It is expected to become a Category 4 storm. Next landfall eyeing the coast of Florida here. Now south of Tampa, maybe toward the Fort Myers area for that landfall, but don't concentrate just on the center. Many areas are impacted by this storm. You can see the tornado watch in effect for much of South Florida, even a tornado warning in one of those outer bands. Here's the latest track that we have. You can see that bit of a shift now to the south of Tampa near Fort Myers, potentially making landfall Wednesday afternoon as with 130-mile-an-hour winds as a Category 4 storm. And then here's another interesting shift in the track. It keeps it as a tropical storm emerging back out over the Atlantic during the day here on Friday, and then coming back in over the Georgia-South Carolina coast once we get into late Friday into Saturday. Then the remnants coming back up into South Carolina, the upstate there, on Saturday afternoon. We still look like we'll be on the better side of the storm, but still we're expecting some impacts. Based on the latest track, this is what we're watching. In the metro area, potentially Friday into Saturday, 1 to 3 inches of rain possible, 3 to 4 inches of rain over in East Georgia. The wind here, 10 to 20 miles an hour. With some higher gusts, and then the storm or severe weather threat would mainly be into East Georgia and South Carolina. But again, that track can change. These impacts could change. We'll have more scenarios for you in just a few minutes.
All right, Chris, we'll see you in a couple of minutes, sir. Right now, people are fleeing the path of Hurricane Ian. They're flooding into Atlanta tonight, both on the road and in the air.
Yeah, today we've seen several people coming through Hartsfield-Jackson Airport before Tampa's airport actually closed down this evening. Caitlin Ross is at the airport now, where, Caitlin, the last flight out of Tampa is just now landing, right?
Yeah, Savannah, that flight's expected to land in about 17 minutes. And the folks I talked to say they all tried to get on earlier flights because they wanted to be in the air before the Tampa airport closed. Ronaldo Moyer wanted to catch the first flight out of Tampa this morning.
I was supposed to leave later, but I was able to get on an early flight because the airport in Tampa is closing at 5 o'clock.
He was already planning to come visit family in Atlanta when he heard how bad the storm could get.
So I prepared my house, got it ready, and I'm still just got on my flight.
He came in on the same flight as Atlanta resident Adam Graziosi. He was vacationing in Tampa when he heard about a mandatory evacuation.
I instantly try to change my flights. Also, I hope I don't get stuck here. I hope I can get home.
Both men say they're worried about the potential damage from the storm.
This one I'm feeling not really good, you know. Before it's always been, you know, don't worry about it too much. This one is, I think, is more concern for everybody.
And that's what I heard when I was talking to people flying in from Tampa today. They're all really worried. Moyer is expected to fly home on October 2nd, and he says he just doesn't know what it's going to look like when he gets back home. Reporting live at the airport, Caitlin Ross, 11 Alive News.
Yeah, Caitlin, you can see why a lot of folks out there are really concerned. You know, many of folks out there are now evacuating, and they're going to try to take advantage of some of these cheaper gas prices. Right now, a gallon of gasoline is going to cost you about $3.20 per gallon. In Tampa, the average is about 15 cents more per gallon. Both of those prices are according to Gas Buddy. But don't forget, Georgia's gas tax is currently on pause, saving you about 29 cents per gallon. And there are a lot of questions right now about if the storm could impact gas prices here in Georgia. Paulo Suro picks up our team coverage, bringing you just the facts.
While we keep an eye on Hurricane Ian, we're also keeping an eye on the gas pumps. Could gas prices go up because of the storm? Our sources are Gas Buddy and AAA.
We are not expecting too much of a change in gas prices.
In a statement, AAA tells us in part that gas prices in Georgia have risen slightly overnight, likely due to the anticipation that the storm may cause distribution problems and flooded roads. It adds that if southern refineries are damaged by the storm, it could impact prices too. But Gas Buddy spokesperson Nicole Peterson explains that as of now, that's not expected to be the case.
The storm is expected to kind of avoid those major refineries in the Mississippi, Louisiana, Gulf Coast area. So shouldn't see too many refinery impacts from the current projected path of the hurricane. There could be, some supply disruptions in Florida, but that does not necessarily equate to a bump in prices.
Both sources urge people to not run out and buy gas in a panic because that could be what potentially drives prices up at the pump.
They encourage drivers, especially outside of the state of Florida, to not panic buy fuel. In most case scenarios, filling up multiple tanks of gas or filling up when you don't really need it just makes the situation worse and limits supply for people who do really need it.
So we can verify you might see a slight price increase at the pumps, but it won't be because of Hurricane Ian. Instead, it'll likely be because of people panic buying at the pumps. Paolo Suro, 11 Alive News.
Well, for the very latest information on Hurricane Ian, including the storm's track and how to keep your family safe, just text the word Ian to the number on your screen. That's 404-885-7600. Text the word Ian to that number, and we're going to send you a link with the full coverage from our website.